recording. So I'm going to the Android Studio and I'm going to start a new project. The same one as before. I'm going to choose the empty activity one. And I'll call it my calculator. And practically the other sets will be the same as it were last class. Then I'm going to press finish. And then the project is going to get built for me. So like we talked yesterday, we normally have the behavior is on Java code, and the definition, for example, the definition where we position things is on the XML. Okay. I ask of you building a calculator it looks kind of like this. So you have to edit text, 4 buttons for each operator, and then the result. Okay. So normally we start by doing the interface. Okay. Normally it's better to start someplace. It's better to start with the interface because to have the code, we need the interface before. Normally I always try to put here the show sequence and y. Okay. Just for you to know, I'll have here 2 buttons that I didn't show you yesterday. One is you have all the constraints here and you think that you mistake the constraint, that you want to redo all the constraints. Okay? You have this button that will clear all the constraints. Now I don't have any more constraints. Okay? Just recapitulating what we saw, constraints is used on the constraint layout in order to position objects on the screen. Okay? And one thing that we also have to put constraints, we have this magic wand here that infer constraints. If you press that, all the constraints are going to be created for you. Okay? Normally it's not the best solution. Normally it's best for you to do it by yourself, but if you are in a hurry or something kind of like that, it's something you can use. Okay? Because for example here, it positions the middle, this one is on the way to here. Maybe it's okay. Okay. Anyway, I just want to show these 2 before we start, but I'm going to delete both of them. Okay. So my calculator, I'm going to put one edit text customized for decimal. So pick this one here. So I'm going to drag and drop here. Okay. And I'm going to put the constraint to it. So I'm going to put the constraint to the left, to the right, and to the top. To the top, I think 32, 52, I think it's okay. Okay. So I have my first CD text. This will be the first number. Okay. I will change the ID. So then I can use on the code on Java. So I call it first number edit text. Then going to ask me to refactor. So you change anything that it needs. Okay. And then I'm going to put a hint information in order for the user to know what it should put inside of it. Okay. We could try to find it here, but also we have here the search that I could type hint and it will appear here. Okay, so hint. One thing about text on Android. The idea of Android is to have all the texts not defined inside my layout or even on Java code, but defined on my string file. Here, my string file. Why is that? The idea is to have all the text here, even the app name. Because applications normally are made for all the world, and made you need translation in your application. So it's easier to have just one place with all the text that you're using on your application, and you can, if you want, you can open here the editor, and you can add more locations. So you can have multiple translations of the same application. And it's easier for you to do that with just one file because you change just in one place. Okay? I'm not going to do a lot of editors, but you can do it by here, okay? So all the strings should be here. We could type our hint here. So first number. So as a hint, the best way for you to edit it is a hint that appears in gray. If the user presses, it disappears. It doesn't affect the input of the user. Okay. One thing that we have here is the component tree and says we have a mistake on my layout. Okay. If you click here, it appears the error and show fixes that could work for us. If you are using the new version, you started the new version on your notebook, probably this fix doesn't appear. You need to click on with your right mouse and probably appear quick fix or fixing options, something kind of like that, okay? But here say touch targets too small, okay? Android decided that touch size that was good is 45 dp, and now they say it's 48 dps. Okay, so just so we could fix this error. Also, it's asking for us a warning. It's asking to use autofill. What's autofill? Since I did text, you could type your name, for example. You probably, in your phone, type your name many times, filling forms on many applications. And probably the Android already know your name. It's saved from before. So you could use autofill to send like suggestion when you open the keyboard to which should put, okay? In our case, it's a calculator. So we don't want any autofills because we don't want them to suggest a number for us, okay? Also, is asked here for the hard-coded text. The first number that we put here is hard-coded. As I said before, it should be on the string file. If we press fix here, it asks here the resource name and the resource file. When you press OK, it will put here for us on the string file, as it should be. Okay. You could do that way, or you could type it here and then pick it up from the layout XML. Okay. I'm going to do both ways for you to see how you could do it. Okay. Okay, and then color contrast. Okay, is asked for more contrast between the hint and hint. Okay, they define a color and now they want to change it. Okay, I just press fix it, and we have our first edit text. Now we want to put a second one, since we need two inputs. So I'm going to drag and drop the same one. I put the constraint to the left to be the same one, and also to the right to be the same one, and top of one should be to the bottom of the other, and some space between them. Okay. I'm going to call it the ID second number edit text. And then I also want to put here a hint saying second number. Now I will do another way. Go to the string file. Okay, you can find the string file if you not find here on resource values strings. Okay, and then I'm going to create another one here. String. Everything have a name, the name that you want to find it, and the value. So I'm going to call it here second number, and then second number. So I have both of my strings. Now here on the layout, I can choose this one, find the hint. It's hint, and you have this, it's not really a button on the right, it's kind of like a little, looks kind of like a capsule, something kind of like this. After the text input you have that. That's a button. It doesn't look like, but it's a button. When you press it, it can appear all strings that are defined on our application, on our file. For example, the app name, first number, second number, that we can select it. And also from the system. Because maybe you want to use, for example, paste. Something's common to use in the system. And it gets automatically translated. Okay? But in our case, you want to use the second number. So I select it here, press OK. And there, the second number appears. Okay? Another way for you to do it is also to, on the hint, you could type at string and also appear here everything that's defined, and I could select the name at string second number. Okay, so you have many ways to do the same thing since it have the same result. Okay, we have errors and warnings here. Let's solve them. So touch targets too small. Going to fix it. Also the autofill. I don't want autofill. And the context rate. We're going also to fix it. Okay. So we have two numbers. You can type here. Now we want to have the operations buttons. Okay. We have so far used the console layout. The console layout, for every view that's shown on the screen, we need a constraint to define the position. But we had other forms of layout. Okay. We have the most common console layout and the linear layouts. Okay. We have the other ones. Okay. But we're not going to look into that. The linear layout is a simpler one. What's the idea of the linear layout? Instead of you putting constraints, you define a space for all your components, and it keeps dividing the space between them. So I'm going to drag and drop the first one, the horizontal layout, and I'm going to put here on my screen. Okay, so it's here. It's empty. It's just it's like a container for others. Okay, for them. Going to put some constraints to it. So I'm going to put a constraint to the top of it, to the second on bottom. Put some space, like 52. Also put constraint to the left and to the right. So I'm going to pass it here on the dot and here on the dot. And also going to put some little space. So we have a little margin here. Because I don't know if I said last class, but it's not good for us to put things on the margin of the phone. Because the touch get degraded. Probably if you have a case, you probably will not touch very good. So the sensor is not very good there. So normally put a little space like 8 and 8. Okay. And one thing that's defined here is the layout width and height. Okay. If I put layout width to be 0 dp, it will be according to the constraint that I define here. So for example, you have 8 here. If I define like 32, the size, the width gets small. Okay. So I'm going to define back as it. Okay. I will change later the height, but just for sure. And the cool thing about the linear layout is that now I can add the buttons, and the buttons will not have any constraint about them. So I will add one button to it, and the whole size fills with the button. If I add a second button, it divides between the two of them. If I add a third, divides between them. So sometimes it's easier for you to work with the linear layout. So I'm going to add 4 buttons, 3 and 4. Okay. But one thing about the buttons, they have this size, this height, but my whole height is much bigger of my linear layout. So I'm going to change the height of it to be wrap content. Wrap content, what does it mean? It's the minimum size in order to show the content it has. What contents does the linear layout have? The buttons. So when I change wrap content here, you have similar size as the buttons. Now we need to customize each button. Okay. First the plus. So we're going to go here on the string file, define it plus, and put the plus sign. So define the string that's going to appear on the Now, back on the, I'm going to select the first button. I'm going to change the ID to be plus button. I'm going to refactor. The text instead of button, I'm going to select at string plus. So we change the text and we change the ID. And we need to do the same for the other 3 buttons. So now minus. So go to string file, string minus, and back here, select the second button, the ID minus button, refactor, and the text will be string minus. Now we need for multiplication. So string multiplication. We're going to put asterisk, or maybe you can put X also, if you prefer. And I'm going to select here the third one. I'm going to call it mut bottom. And I'm going to select the text multiplication. And last for the division. So the name division. Okay. And select the button. Div button. And then the text division. Okay. Now we have some warnings here on our buttons. Okay, let's check them out. So first one is complaining about that the button, now they decide that the button should be borderless. So let's have them borderless. Okay, all of this because of the borderless, so let's put them all borderless. Okay, and that's it for our warnings. So we have here the 4 buttons for operations. We have the 2D texts. Now we just need one text view for the result. I want to use text view because I don't want to put any input on it. Okay? So I'm going to put here text view, put a constraint. I don't know why he did what he just did. Let put me again. And to the left and to the right. I put 62 between them. Also probably should say result or something kind of like that. So I'm going to put here on the string file also this string. String name result. Result 2 dots. I call the ID result text view and refactor, and the text will be the string result. Also, since it's showing the result, I want to have more important switch, to have it bigger and stuff like that. We can change here on the common attributes. Okay, we have here text appearance. We could change also the font. We could change the text size, the alignment. Okay, we have this text appearance that normally is defined by the system. So, for example, we have large. So it gets bold and bigger. And I think this is okay for the interface. Okay. I've got this so far. Can we move to the code? Okay, so now we're going to the code, and we need to declare the variables that we want, and then define the functionalities that we want to do. Okay, so first, the first number, we're going to check here the ID. We don't need to have the same ID here as the name of the variable here, but I normally like to do that way. For me, I think it's easier. So we create here id text plus number id text, and then we first number id text receives find view by id r.id dot first number id text. Now we do the same thing for the second number. And for the text view result. And also for the buttons. So just going to define first the first button plus button, and then plus button receives find view by id r.id dot plus button. And now I want to, when the user press the plus button, to do something. Okay? You have seen that we could do that by set on click listener. And I showed that you could do new view on click listener. Yes. But there are other ways to do this. Okay? We could do this with the arrow operator. It's the same thing. Okay? This means what? You have this block of code here, defined here, that will receive this view as a parameter. You have the same thing with fewer lines of code. So when the user presses the button, what we want to do? Oh, I don't know if your computer is doing this. Mine is complaining now that I should compile on 33. If you have the same problem, here on Gradle, the second one, on the app one, it says here compile SDK 32 and target SK 32. You need to change both of them to 33. Probably if you are on your own computer don't have that, but maybe on the computers here with Gillette maybe you have this problem. Because here I also have an older version of Android Studio. I should update the latest one, but since some computers are older, it's better to keep it old. Okay, so now if I press play, so the idea is that I put one number here and another one here, and I press plus or something like that to appear here on the result. So I do the operation and I press the button. So let's do that here. So I could get the information from the first, get text to string. One thing about this code, that's a common mistake also that makes. Here I'm getting the text from the first edit text, but when I'm getting inside the onCreate. That means I'm getting on the creation of the application. On the creation of the application, the content here normally is empty. When I want to get this information, when I press the plus button, okay? So this should move to inside here, okay? And I want to convert this string to a number. So let's convert it. So double num1 equals double value of s. Okay, that way I can have this value as a double value. Is a number with the float portion, okay? The fraction part. Now we need to do this exactly same thing for the second number. Normally when we are coding and we see something that's repeating more than one time, we, instead of copying this code and make a copy here, we make it generic and put inside a function, inside a method. Okay, let's do that. So, I'm going to create a private method that returns a double, get double from edit text, that receives an edit text, because the only thing changed between the first number and the second number, because we could do something kind of like this for the second number, would be pretty much you do something like this. You have two things that are pretty much the same. The only thing is change is the edit text. So you make a generic version and use for both of them. So I'm going to get it from the edit text and then return this number here. Now I can use for both of my edit text. So I can number 1 equals get double and why is that? Because it makes it easier for us also to keep track of our code, duplicate our code, make it better, look for errors, okay? Instead of have a lot of duplicated code. Now we do the operation. Double result equals number 1 plus number 2. So I pick up the information from the first one, pick up from the second, do the operation. Now we need to show it on the result. So result text view dot set text result plus result. So if I put 3 and 4 and press the result 7. One thing about the program now so far. If the user forget to type the second number and you ask for to do the operation, to press the plus button here, the application crashes. Okay? So if we have here the logcat that normally shows every error and everything. I'm going to put it again to show you again, because every log message from the system also appears here. So if I press plus button, it says it cannot transform in a double an empty string. So we should try to avoid this mistake. Okay? Another good thing about we have put in here on a function, on a method, is because what? Now we are going to treat this because the error is here. If the text is empty, this will crash the application. To avoid that, we have on Java try catch. We try to do operation. If it has an exception, we don't crash the operation. We treat it here. Okay? So in our case, you're just going to put a value here. And then this part we are doing inside the try. So you could try to transform the string, the text, into a double. If we can't, it goes here on the catch. And we should show message to the user, showing a mistake. Okay? Android has many ways to show message. One of them is a toast message. Why is called a toast message? Because the idea is that a toast, when it came out of a toaster, appear real quick and go back off. That's the idea. That message that appear real quick, quickly, and then get off. Okay? So we are going to create a toast message. So first we need the context. Okay? I won't think about if you're copying this code. The one that's on gray or have this on the side here, like normally here, text, context. These are not for you to copy. These are from the system, from the IDE, to help me know what this parameter is. Okay? So the context will be the name of my activity.this, because it's allow me to create a new component, in this case a toast component. The text, field should not be empty. Empty. Also here have the length, can be long or short. Okay, and then you show this toast message. Now if we try again, both of them are empty. I press the plus, it appears here, just a message to the user. Okay. Now we need to do the same thing for the minus button, right? And then for the times, and then for the division. But for the minus button, what we are going to do? We are going to also pick up the double point text, the first number. Then we're going to pick up the second one. Then you're going to do the operation. The operation will be different. You'll not be a plus, but you'll be a minus. And then we're going to show the result. So all the steps is pretty much the same, just one that's changing. So maybe you could put also this on another function. Okay, we could create another function like private void calculate operation. I could put here int operation, But I think it'd be easier if we do it with the ID of the operation. The ID that we defined also on the layout. The ID that we use here, for example, result ID and so on, is an integer actually. Okay, they have like a list of all the things that we have on our code. I don't know if I can. Yeah, it doesn't show anymore. No. So I could pick up all this code here and put it here and check if ID equals plus button, and I could call here calculate operation a.id dot plus button. We are going to have the exactly same result. So the same result. Okay. Normally that's how we code. We do a version that's not so good, and then we increment, make it a little bit better. Okay. But we can also make a little bit better also here. When you have the click listen, this view here is what? Is what was clicked. In this case is the plus button. Okay? So I can get the ID from the view. So it's more generic. Now let's create for the minus button what we need to do. Exact same code here, but button minus button, and here we're going to have an else So we create another button with minus button, find view ID, then set click listen to do the operation with this minus button. And we created here another else if. Exactly, not missing just one part there to do the minus operation here. Now if I put 4 and 3 and do plus 7 minus 1. But one thing that we can see also here, this code here is exactly the same as this one here of the minus. We are just changing the ID here and also the variable that's going to get, but you're not going to use later on, so we don't need it. Okay. So we could also create another function for that. So private void create operation and then we pass it here int ID that we could have this function here, and then we could do create operation dot id dot plus button minus button multiplication button and division button. That way the code also is more clean and easy to understand. Just one thing is missing. Just here on the calculate operations, we just need to implement the other one. So we need one for multiplication and one for division. So 5 and 2. So, oops. 3 and 7. Plus 10 minus 4 times 21. Division 0.82 m. Okay, any questions so far? All good. So that's it for the calculator exercise. So I'm going to stop the video here.